welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for braving the weather. So, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in Fullerton, California. My name is Tomoko Rosas, and I'm a practitioner at this beautiful spiritual community. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. I have a few announcements before we get started. This Wednesday is our candlelight service, and it starts at 6:30 for light dinner, and the service starts at 7. So please join us, and it's a beautiful service to share with your friends and family. So everybody's welcome. And we're continuing to collect food and toy items for Pathways of Hope, and they are so appreciative of every bit that we bring in. So please, if you have something, if you have canned food or unwrapped toys, please bring it in. And the last day to collect will be next Sunday, the 18th. And thank you so much for everyone who's already donated. And sign up sheet for our spiritual economics workshops, Sunday workshops, is at the welcome table, and it is an accredited class through CSL home office. And if you like to get credit for it, you have to take all 8, but everybody could join in. It's open to all levels, and you could take it as an individual workshop every Sunday, and you could join in for 1, 2, all 8. And Reverend Bill is teaching it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Also, information on the next Wednesday night class, The Roots of Science of Mind, is in the program. And that class, Reverend Bill is also teaching. And if you're interested, please sign up at the welcome table. Our Unexpected Income Club is going strong. And it's the end of the year. And just a reminder, we are fully recognized nonprofit 501c3 organizations. Your donation is tax deductible. That's what I meant to say. But please consult your tax advisor on that. So I think that's it for me. And thank you for listening.
Need to be still. Let God love me. I need to be still. Let God love me. When this whole world starts to push and shove me, need to be still. Let God love me.
Good morning and God morning again. My name is Beverley Brezden, and I am a practitioner at this most beautiful place of worship. My reading this morning is Being the Global Heart of Peace. The book is, the reading is from a book titled Alive with Spirit by Linda McNamara. When we have inner peace, we can be at peace with those around us. When our community is in a state of peace, it can share that peace and model that peace with neighboring communities. The 14th Dalai Lama. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone around the globe had a comfortable place to sleep and food to eat? Wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone had the medical attention when needed, a safe place to raise their children, and shelter from the storms of life? Such a world is possible, and it begins right here and now with you and me. It begins with what we think, what we believe, what we say, and most of all, what we do. Because we are one in consciousness with spiritual reality, you and I have an effect on the world the way it is today, and on what it can become. If you want our world to change, either globally or locally, we need to turn to the non-material realm of consciousness. As we establish peace within our hearts and within our minds, we will act peacefully in our personal lives. As more and more personal lives are lived with serenity, it will spread around the globe. We must empty our minds of the divisive beliefs which created the world's challenges in the first place, and replace them with the knowledge that we are all one life. We are all one consciousness. And it is from this unity that we make personal choices, which create a world which experiences a global heart of peace. Today I celebrate the spirit life within all people. Serenity radiates forth from deep within my being. I hold the world in thoughts of love, thoughts of peace. My consciousness today is part of the global heart of peace. Let me end this with prayer, please. Renewal. Open wide the windows of our spirits and fill us full of light. Open wide the door of our hearts that we may receive and entertain Thee with all our powers of adoration. Christina Rossetti. And together we say, thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is.
It's not enough to know it. I've got to somehow show it. For love is just a candle in a tube. Whose fading light will soon be gone, without new breath to urge it on, to be a ray of hope instead of gloom. Shine through me, shine through me, Lord, make my life a ray of light for everyone to see. Flowing, reaching, loving light is what I need to be. So take control, ignite my soul and shine through me. The world is like a child that's lost, darkness all alone, who only needs a distant light to guide him safe shine through me. Oh, make my life ray of light for everyone to see. Flowing, reaching, loving light is what I need to be. So take control, ignite my soul, and shine through me. Shine through me. Shine through
Wow. Michael Whitney, Tommy Cosentino. So good morning.
Good morning.
Continuing with our overarching theme of cosmic consciousness. The title of today's talk is Home is Where the Heart Is. Whatever in the world does that have to do with cosmic consciousness, Bill? Well, it has this to do with it. Let me back up a little bit. You know, last Sunday, I kind of mentioned that, you know, about the sign hanging on the apartments that if you live here, you'd be home now. And then I saw the bumper sticker that said, if you lived in your heart, you'd be home now. That's exactly cosmic consciousness. When we are aware of who we are and our identity in that divine creation that all of this is, we can't be anywhere but home. And home is where the heart is. And I know, you know, what we say is, well, home is where the heart is. That means that, you know, you could be somewhere in another country or another part of the world or somewhere else, and really your heart's at home because that's where you find your and give your love and affection. And it's true. I mean, it is. Have you ever been away from home and spent all your time thinking about, or when something happens, you relate to how that would have happened at home? Mm-hmm. Sure. Or it might mean that home is where the heart is where we give our thoughts and our attention and our affection and our intention is at that home. And that's great, but I just think that what happens when we do that sometimes is we have this tendency to identify home as a physical place. And we do have that. I mean, there's no denying that. Who doesn't have a home? But home is where the heart is. I probably should have turned that around. Probably should have said heart is where the home is. Because that's when we're at home. That's where we're at home. And the cosmic consciousness that surrounds us and lives and breathes and beats through that very heart of ours, that is our home. And sometimes we get caught up with our self-identification. Who doesn't? I mean, it's just part of being human. But the fact is, when we are busy thinking about our self-identification or that identity that others have given us, and we temporarily lose sight of the fact that we are God in action. We are expressions, we are extensions, we are iterations of that one power and that one presence of that God that has created everything, that brings everything to life and sustains it. That's where our heart is. That's where our home is. Right here in the middle of all of this. And the beauty of it, the part I liked about that bumper sticker is, it doesn't matter where you are. So the sign that says if you lived here, you'd be home now, presupposes, if you will, that we've had to come from somewhere to get here. Now, in my feeble little mind, I spell that commute. That we've been commuting, which means we've been caught up in all that traffic and that. We've been caught up in the throes of worldly frustrations, if you will, and wishing we were maybe somewhere else. You know, I wish I was home already. But the fact is, if we lived in our heart, we'd be home now. We say that from anywhere. It doesn't matter where we are. We could be on the other side of the world. We don't have to miss our physical home here. Well, we do have to because we're on the other side of the world. But the fact of the matter is, as long as we understand that we are at home in our hearts and we are in that consciousness, that cosmic consciousness, the world is right. There's lots of other things going on around us, but especially in the midst of other things going on around us, we can be at home in our heart. So, when the world lets you down, where are you going? I'm going home. Yeah, I'm going home to my heart. I'm getting out of here, I'm going home to my heart. Now, there's only one time we can be in our heart space. There's only one time. That time is now. Now. Have you noticed? Funny thing about the now moment, this what is right this second, the now never recedes back into the past. Oh, we try to get it to, don't we? And we put our memory back there, but it always advances into the future. Meaning, in this now moment, we can't redo, we don't get to erase something that we just did and redo it. We get to rethink it, but when we rethink it, we are rethinking it when? Now. And as we go forward from now, things are going to get better and brighter and all those things we want them to get because of now changing our thinking. And with every now second, every now second that comes along, don't we ever say sometimes, I just need a little time. Oh, if I just had a little time. Someday if sometime I could only, the master of telling us to stay in the now, Eckhart Tolle, from his book, The Power of Now, talking about that because the only time we can be in our heart is now. We got to get out of our head. When can we be in our head? We can be in our head anywhere, anytime, any place, right? I can be flying a one-eyed hippopotamus across the moon in my mind, but the only time I can be in my heart is right now. So we got to get out of our head, kind of is what he's saying. He says, to be identified with your mind is to be trapped in time. That's why we have to be in our heart. We can't always be in our mind. Because intellectually, what do we know intellectually? Lots of stuff. What good does it do us? Lots of good. As long as our only focus is living here on this planet and stumbling through that rat race and wishing I lived here so I could be home already. The compulsion to live almost exclusively through memory and anticipation is what we get when we're living in our minds. The past gives you identity and the future holds a promise of salvation or fulfillment in some form or other, but that can only come to pass if we're attending to this moment, if we're in our heart this moment. So let's don't say, well, in a little while I'll be in my heart. Right now, I just want to tell you something. No, we can only do that from right now. He says time isn't precious at all. Don't we think time is precious? Time isn't precious at all because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the one point out of time right now. This moment. This moment's not in time. Well, in a little while it's going to be a memory. And day before yesterday it was coming for sure. But this is the only time we can enjoy it, and this is the only time we can live it, and we can only live it in our heart right this minute. And why is it the most precious thing, he says? Because it's the only thing. The now moment. It's the only thing. Try as we might. We can't go back and redo yesterday. We can't go forward and do next week. We can only be right here, right now, doing what we need to do and coming from that heart space so that when that future time comes, we're already in that space. We're still in that space. We've been in that space. It can't be taken away from us. And it has to unfold perfectly because that's where we're coming from and that's where we're living. Now is the only point that can take you beyond the limited confines of mind and into your heart. Right now, right here. Something else I found. This is a book called Awakened Imagination by Neville. Neville really is Neville Goddard, one of the old school, way back when, first people in this kind of movement. And I love what he says, because he's talking about being aware of the fact that we are this cosmic consciousness in action when our home is our heart. It can be no other way. The two are so inextricably bound up that they can't be separated. And they're so important and they're so much the mainstream that if we're not in our hearts and we're not aware of our tie to the cosmic consciousness, we can't get there from here. We can't do the things we want to do. We can't have the feelings we want to have. We can't feel our life in that life principle where we are. Isn't that funny? It's like kind of like a fish not noticing the water. We can be right smack in the middle of this life principle and sometimes just not even be aware of it. So somebody takes that 2x4 up alongside our head and says, "Hello, Bill, here I am." No, there you are. Where are you over there? We're right here in the moment. Why aren't you joining me? But Neville says, and this is going to become important in the next few meetings we have, he says, every man, so let's say every person is Mary, and birth to Christ must give. If the story of the Immaculate Conception and birth of Christ appears irrational to somebody, it's only because it is misread as biography, history, or cosmology. That's how intertwined, it's not even intertwined, that's how much we are that cosmic consciousness. Just as much as the furthest star away and the brightest star and the closest one and everything that flies through the heavens, we are exactly that. Only we're right here, and instead of flying in orbit, we're doing this little thing and this little thing, knowing that if we lived here, we'd be home already. The Son of God is not to be found in history nor in any external form. And don't we sometimes lose sight of that? If we're not living in our heart, we're not here right now, we can easily overlook that. He can only, or she, Son of God, the child of God, let's say, can only be found in the heart of those in whom his presence becomes manifest. Oh, would thy heart but be a manger for his birth, God would once more become a child on earth. God is always and forever a child on earth. God is you. God is me. God is everything that we see. But we can't see it with our eyes, because we see it with our eyes. It goes into our mind, that mind that likes to analyze and compartmentalize. That's easy for me to say. We have to see it and accept it and understand it with our hearts. I'm going to give you something really scary. This is from the book Return to the Heart of God, which is the practical philosophy of A Course in Miracles by Robert Perry. I just want to warn you, this is not for the faint of heart. A Course in Miracles is not for the faint of heart. It can really get you. But here's what he says. Imagine the effect of someone standing in front of you and seeing you as the Christ. Not in theory, but actually experiencing you as the Christ. Imagine this person being so enraptured with your holiness that he can scarce refrain from kneeling at your feet. What would happen inside if you decided that he was saner than you? That his picture of you was more valid than your picture of you? Because we give lip service to this all the time. God in me, God working in as and through me. And doesn't it sound great? And more, it's just kind of becoming the jargon. It's just becoming mainstream lexicon type material. But when we're feeling that in our hearts, if we really believe that, look at what a different color we'd be seeing everything as. Look at the different lens we'd be seeing through. We wouldn't be seeing through the, oh my God, I wish. We'd be seeing through, yeah, that's me. And as long as I'm aware of that cosmic consciousness being me, not just wrapped around me, and not just embodied in me, and not just in as and through me, but being as me, I have all the power. I have the same power. There's nothing on this planet, there's nothing in existence that could have more power than you and me. Sometimes we just we got to get back in the driver's seat. We just got to say, yeah, that's true, that is me. I got to stop analyzing this, and I got to stop thinking of reasons why that's not true. I got to stop thinking of reasons why I'm just, oh, some old boy, some old guy just getting battered and kicked around by life. No. Because when we understand the power that we have, and when we run that through our hearts instead of through our minds, doesn't it come out so much differently? It comes out totally, completely, and it comes out so much more powerfully. It's hard to believe. You know, heard that expression, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. And what do we think of when we think of that? Be it ever so humble, that means if I'm living in a rundown clapboard lean-to, on the other side of the tracks, away from the high digit zip code, there's still no place, that's my home, there's no place like that. Be it ever so humble. That is not what the master teacher Jesus was trying to tell us when he said to be humble. He wasn't saying, go find a lean-to to live in. Show your humbleness, show your humility, which is another thing. You know, I think humility, the word humility, kind of gets a bum rap. Don't we think of humility where you think of, well, humiliating yourself? It's not about that. It's not about downplaying ourselves. Humility is not thinking less of myself. It's thinking of myself less. We get that? I'm not thinking less of myself. I'm not thinking I'm less than what I am. I'm not thinking I'm less than a child of God, that I am the living, breathing, beating heart of the cosmic consciousness. I'm not thinking that at all. I'm knowing that's the case. I'm knowing that's who we are. But on the other hand, it's not all about me. I can take that strength of that power, that divinity, and go out into the world and use it for the benefit of somebody or everybody else. So we don't want to get this word humility confused, you know, in the Sermon on the Mount, right? Blessed be the holy, blessed be the pure in heart, for they shall see God. We can't be pure in heart if we're not, I don't know, pure in heart. If we're still hemming and hawing, and we're still hedging our bet, and we're still saying, well, yeah, I get it, I am that, mostly, or sometimes, or I will be. No, will be. You never will be. We never will be. We are only ever right now. So when we can adopt that and incorporate that into our lifestyle and build it around that, that's when we're working in the manner of a divine child of spirit. How could you beat that? Who wouldn't want that? Howard Thurman, love Howard Thurman, did an essay once called More Loving in My Heart. He says, I want to be more loving in my heart. Can you imagine Howard Thurman thinking he should be more loving? It is often easy to have the idea in mind and plan to be more loving, to see it with my mind and give assent to the thought of being loving. This is crystal clear. But I want to be more loving in my heart. We can't talk ourselves into it. We cannot talk ourselves into expressing our divinity. We can only feel ourselves into that. We can only lead with our heart and put us there where we want to be, assuming that's where we want to be. You know, the Hebrew language has a word, anawah, and we translate that as meaning humility. Speaking of humility, their word for that is anawah. But their meaning for that is so much different. Its literal definition is just meaning this, to occupy our God-given space in this world. That's humility, to occupy our God-given space in this world. Not to overestimate who we are. We all know overestimators, don't we? And not to underestimate who we are. Well, we all know underestimators too. We are all instances of the divine livingness that makes everything go around. We are that miracle of life. We are that cosmic consciousness put right here, molded into our shapes. So all it's up to us to do is understand that and live from that. Hi. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, funny we should mention him, He said, not alone unto the great comes the soft tread of the unseen guest. The arrogant have not perceived the simplicity of faith, but the pure in heart see God. So not only it's not just the arrogant who haven't seen it. Remember those people who overestimate their place. It's also those who underestimate their place. They haven't seen it either. So if we find ourselves in a position of thinking either, well, I am all that in a bag of chips, or, oh my God, I'm so unworthy, we're missing the mark in both directions. And as they say, miss is as good as a mile. Whether you're overshooting or undershooting, it doesn't make any difference. You've missed the opportunity to be in your heart right now. D.H. Lawrence, I'm going to leave you with this, said, those that go searching for love only make manifest their own lovelessness. And the loveless never find love. Only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. We don't have to seek for it because we're already it. You ever get up in the morning and said, oh, I think I better go seek for myself? No, nobody yet. If we aren't loving, if we are not coming from that heart space, if we're not living in that love, no point going looking for it. It's not out there. It's not out there to find it. There is nothing external to us. Oh, I know. You say, well, look, there's that car over there and that building over there. Yeah, I get that. But I'm talking about in our consciousness. There's nothing external to us. There's no quality of God, no quality of life, no quality of any type of feeling or understanding that is external to us. It's just that we need to choose and nurture and advance those feelings that we want to have, and let the other ones fall by the wayside is not being serviceable to us. So let's just know this together. Let's just know that home is where the heart lies, and the heart lies in that cosmic consciousness, and we are part and parcel of it. It will always be that place where I feel most loved. It will be right here within me, not having to describe or identify or characterize myself, except as being a divine iteration of that one life, that one love, that one power, and that one presence from which all things come. It's this feeling, this amazing feeling. It's this welling up in my heart. It's this swelling of my entire personhood that lets me know that my heart, my home, one and the same thing. And as long as I remain right now cognizant of that, right now aware of that, and bring my intention to remain there, my heart, my home will be the same space. It's not a place, it's a space. It's an attitude, it's a concept, it's a feeling. In fact, it's everything that I am, all wrapped up in this one neat little package. And I just say thank you, God, for this. Thank you for allowing me to be at home in my heart and allowing for my heart to be my home. I just let this word go, knowing that it is already mine. It is mine to do. It is mine to live. It is mine to live from. I say thank you, God. And so it is. Let's just know that this is our opportunity to share our abundance. This opportunity to come from that heart within which we live and will never, never, never leave. We know that all of our good comes from that one source, God, and for this we are grateful. And for those of you who are not in the sanctuary with us, thank you too for your continued support. So let's just know that we bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they are given from the central core of who we are, which is God made manifest on this plane. We send them forth to do their good work in this spiritual community, in the community at large, and indeed in the world at large, with no conditions and no strings. So it is.
I don't know if you believe in Christmas, or if you have presents underneath a Christmas tree. But if you believe in love, that will be more than enough for you to come and celebrate with me. I have held the precious gift that love brings, though I never saw a Christmas star. I know there is a light, I have felt it burn inside, I have seen it shining from afar. Christmas is the time to come together, a time to put all differences aside. And I reach out my hand to the family of man to share the joy I feel at Christmas time. For the truth that binds us all together, I would like to say a simple prayer, that at this special time you will have true peace of mind and love enough to last throughout the year. Will be more than enough for peace to last throughout the coming year, and peace on earth will last throughout the year.
Yeah, Georgina and Kermit, and Tommy Cosentino, Michael Whitney. Georgina, Tommy, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's have everybody stand up. And let's know this together. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called love.
It's happening in my heart.
It's happening in my heart.
It's spreading to the rest of me.
It's spreading to the rest of me.
For this I'm grateful.
For this I'm grateful.
Thank you, God, in me.
Thank you, God, in me.
Amen.
Amen.